so much. Thank you so much for everyone who's joining us today for our open house. We're very excited to have an opportunity to speak with everyone and share a bit more information on the New York City Data Science Academy. We're excited. We have two amazing guest speakers today. We have Mr. Ryan Clark and Mr. Patrick Starvaggi, and just sharing their experience on data science, on the boot camp, why they chose to do it, and their experience within the boot camp, and sharing a bit of their success stories with us. So we do have some great speakers. So they're looking forward to address your questions and making sure that we can provide you with some clarity on what you can expect if you're looking to pursue data science training. So with that being said, just to introduce myself, my name is Noah Escobar. I'm the Assistant Manager of Enrollment for the Academy. It is a pleasure to virtually meet everyone. I do have some housekeeping rules just to keep things going in order. For anyone who is interested or has a question, or it just needs to address some points, please feel free to either use the raise hand icon towards the bottom of your screen. You can also have the chat towards the left. Feel free to post any questions you have there. One key thing about the chat, make sure that you do have it set to all panelists and attendees. That way we're all able to see your question and, very importantly, be able to address it. All right. And we also have the Q&A button. So make sure to use those. Why don't we try testing it out? Where's everyone? If everyone can just jump on the chat and tell me where you're joining us from, that'd be great. Bangkok, wow, Anand. I see Queens, representing Queens. Nice. South Africa. Oh, JP, how are you, JP? So we're in Manhattan. Wonderful. So we have some local time zones and some international time zones. That's great. Well, I appreciate everyone, setting some time aside to join us today. And again, as I mentioned, we're very excited to have an opportunity to speak with you and share some great information on the bootcamp. And for anyone who's interested in pursuing some data science training, you've come to the right place. So I want to share my screen with you, and I'll be sharing the link to our website so that you can follow along and just kind of follow along with me if you'd like. So with that being said, I'll share my screen. And can everyone see that?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So with that being said, we are the New York City Data Science Academy, right? So this, if you're interested, if you're here, it's because you're interested in pursuing some data science training, furthering your career, transitioning into a new role, and just making your way into a career in data science. We're proud to offer, our Data Science Bootcamp and Data Analytics Bootcamp. So for those who are interested in our Data Science Bootcamp, follow here, we do offer an in-person / remote live and online experience. This is where you can come and get all your information and become a bit more familiarized with the Data Science Bootcamp. So for those who are interested, we do have our next Data Science with Machine Learning Bootcamp will take place for the fall quarter, which will begin on September 27th and run until December 21st. And the application deadline for that is on September 10th. And if you're interested in, starting at a later date, we do have our winter quarter, which we have opened up. We started to take applications for that as well. And that'll run from January 3rd until March 25th with an application deadline of December 17th. However, we do have an upcoming bootcamp. So for those who are interested in starting a lot sooner, this is your opportunity to join us. Our application deadline is on July 30th, and that's for our upcoming online bootcamp, both part-time and full-time. Will run on August 16 and end on December 3rd for our full-time students. And as mentioned, we do have the part-time session as well, which will begin on August 16 and run until February 4th. We do have that 10% discount being applied for the upcoming cohort. So if you're interested in taking advantage of that, I do encourage you to submit an application prior to July 30th, to the July 30th deadline. With that being said, what's great about our website is for those who are interested in just getting a good idea of what the data science offers, we have our program highlights, which will kind of walk you through a bit of our offerings, what the bootcamp is about, having our project oriented. We offer 4 industry standard projects for those who are looking to extend their portfolio or create a data science professional portfolio. This is a good opportunity to do so. And then getting familiarized with our curriculum, going from the pre-work to some of our data science courses within the classes within the bootcamp, and moving along up until one of our final projects, which is our capstone project. So this is a good idea. This is a good place for you to explore and get familiarized with the offerings within the bootcamp and having a class description and what the expectation is, so that you know that this is a right fit for you. In addition to that, some of our outlooks and outcomes, right? So for those who are looking to explore what type of placement is occurring within the industry, what's the annual salary, you can certainly jump on the site, get a bit more familiarized with the information, and then some of the opportunities that are available to our alumni, right? So these are just a snapshot of some of the relationships that we have, as the Academy has over 500 relationships that we can tap into and certainly assist our students with. In addition to that, career services, right? Because you're coming here for some training, you're coming here to extend your academia, but very importantly, for those who are looking to further their career or stay within their organization and pursue a bigger role, or just make your transition into the data science industry, what type of support will you have within the bootcamp? And we do offer career services. So you have 3 rounds of personalized resume review, LinkedIn profile reviews, and career guidance sessions, which are extremely important for someone just trying to create a blueprint for success. We offer mock coding challenges, technical and behavioral interview assistance. We offer one-on-one post-interview review and feedback sessions with career advisors. And one thing that I'm always excited to announce is that we do offer lifelong access to hiring and networking events with industry professionals. As the Academy, as an alumni, you do receive lifetime career support. So you'll have access to NYC Data Science Academy Alumni Network and industry connections. And then of course, access to meetups, workshops, and presentations to foster more industry relationships. So this gets you familiarized with the type of support that will be offered to you, not only as a student, but as long as you need it. So remember, as an alumni, you do receive that lifetime career support, and you can tap into these resources whenever you do need them. For anyone who's interested, the application is very simple. You start off by submitting an application, right? And selecting the cohort that you feel will be the best fit for you. Once your application is submitted, you'll book an interview and you'll have an opportunity to speak with me and our team of admissions and discuss a bit more regarding your application, learning more your academic background and your professional background, and making sure that you are on the right track. And that will allow us to assist you in making sure that this is going to be the best fit for you, and then this is the right timing for you. So the interview process is extremely important. And once that has been completed, you will receive a technical assessment. And the technical assessment is designed to assist you or to gauge and assist us in understanding what type of technical and analytical skill you currently possess, and so that we can continue to offer that educated recommendation and say, this is the best track for you at this time. If all works well, welcome on board. You will receive an enrollment offer with some next steps, and we'll get you started on pre-work and making sure that we have you lit up and ready to go in preparation for the first day of class. As I mentioned, We have the upcoming cohorts. So we have the one that is about to start within the next 3 to 4 weeks. We have our full-time and part-time online courses. Again, those run from August 16. For full-time, it'll end on December 3rd. And for those that are on part-time, it will end on February 4th, followed by our in-person and remote live classes, September 27th to December 21st. Again, I'm very excited to announce the fact that we reopened our doors. We have a class that's currently attending for our summer cohort, and we're just happy to have our students back on campus. Additionally, we have the winter session, which I've mentioned we started taking applications for. So if you're interested in starting in January, please feel free to submit that application and getting started, and just getting enough time to get through the preparation. For those of you who are interested in the tuition, you can see that on our site. As I mentioned, our tuition is $17,600, and we are partnered up with some third-party financial industries. You can see the information Ascent and Climb. If you click on the site, it's great because it'll redirect you to their website, so you can get more information on their offerings and how to apply. For those who are interested in financing their education, this is there to facilitate that process for you. If you want to stay posted on what is happening at the Academy, we are continuously updating to offer all the upcoming events. So for those who are interested in attending, we will be hosting another webinar tomorrow at 4 p.m. Feel free to register. You can click on that register now button and sign up for that event. And additionally, if you ever want to coordinate a visit to the site, to our campus, you can find the directions there as well. So this is our data science with machine learning bootcamp, both full-time, in-person, online, as well as part-time online. For those who are interested in our second offering, we offer the data analytics bootcamp. Similar to what we mentioned, you'll find the descriptions throughout the site. For those who are interested in our data analytics bootcamp, this is an online only offering. This is a 12-week part-time self-paced program offering preparation for data analytics, my apologies. The next session is set to start as well for August 16, ending on November 5th. And the application deadline is the same for July 30th. We have that 10% discount being offered there as well. And additionally, for anyone who's interested in starting for the fall cohort, our application deadline is September 10th. Classes will run September 27th and December 21st, ending December 21st. And you can find the same description as we've gone through in the other site. You'll be able to get familiarized with some of our online classroom features, which is great, dedicated. So you'll find the online platform. You have the dedicated meeting portal for one-on-one support, and then the community interaction utilizing Slack. So you'll have that connection while still being an online student. Some of the outlooks and outcomes pertaining to a data analyst role. Some of our alumni is becoming familiarized with their success stories as well. And, the same career support. So for those who are interested in this offering, you have the opportunity to kind of go through our breakdown here and choosing the path that's right for you. The commitment level, the duration within each program, the support, whether it's offered within the bootcamp, the cost, and then financing options for each offering. You'll get familiarized with some of our team members, our CTO to our team of instructors available. There's a little blurb on each of them and just getting acquainted with who you'll be working with within the program. And the application is the same. As mentioned, we have an upcoming August start and in a fall start in September. The application process is the same. You can submit an application, you'll select your application pertaining to the data analytics bootcamp for August, and then meeting with an admissions officer, completing the assessment, and then receiving your results. Tuition and financing is available. And on this site as well, you can register for any of our upcoming events. And the last piece I'd like to walk you through for anyone who is not sure whether the data analytics or the data science bootcamp is the right fit for them, or they're looking for something of less commitment or a shorter time frame. We offer our courses, our professional development courses. So for anyone who's interested in our professional development courses, these run anywhere between 4 to 5 weeks, and they are remote live as well as in person. And this is a more of an a la carte type of experience. So you can simply just pick whatever you're interested in. This doesn't require any type of admissions process or application. If there's something that you're interested in, whether it's more of a introductory with our introductory Python, or beginner level with our data science Python, data analysis and visualization, as well as for R, and then our big data with Amazon Cloud, Hadoop, Spark, and Docker, up to intermediate, where you're working with data science Python machine learning, data science R machine learning, and TensorFlow. And so these are great for anyone who has a specific interest without requiring the additional resources such as career services or project development. This is definitely something that can fit the bill, and give you the necessary preparation and fill in any gaps that you may want to fill in pertaining to the course that you're taking. So this is where you can find any of our courses. And just to kind of walk you through very quickly on one of them, for anyone who's interested in applying on any course, you simply click on the title. You'll go through the offerings, whether it's in August, September, or November, and they run Monday and Wednesdays from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. You do need to be available during those hours, as it is a remote live / in-person experience. And then you get a bit of the course overview, the prerequisites, if any applicable. You do receive a certificate of completion. And what's great also is that we do offer a demo lecture. So for anyone who's interested in the course, you can become a bit more familiarized based on this demo available here. You can also find our syllabus available to anyone who's interested, and it'll just give you a complete listing of what the focus within the course will be, and some of our alumni feedback, and the session schedule, as well as the instructor information I had mentioned before. So this is very user-friendly. Again, for anyone who's interested, this is an a la carte experience. You simply just select the cohort that makes the most sense to you by simply clicking enroll now, entering your information. Yep, entering your information, and then selecting the dates that you are interested in, adding to the cart, and checking out. Okay, but this is our website. You know, for anyone who has additional questions, please feel free to reach out. You can always send an email to admissions@nycdatascience.com. For anyone who's interested in any of our upcoming programs, please feel free to submit an application, as well as booking your interview, and then we'll be happy to connect with you and kind of walk you through the process. So I'm going to stop sharing at this time and see if there's any questions that anybody has posted. I don't have access to the chat, so
here aren't. Okay, do all start dates have full-time and part-time options, specifically the January 3rd, 2020 cohort?
Yes, so for our bootcamp, for the data science bootcamp with machine learning, that has a full-time and part-time option. Both part-time is available only online, while full-time is available for in-person, remote live, and online. So you'll have those options. Just for clarification, also, I forgot to mention that the in-person / remote live is a 12-week full-time program, while the online full-time is a 16-week program, and the part-time online is a 24-week program. Those are the three options available starting the January cohort, or for any cohort associated with the data science with machine learning. For the data analytics, it's online part-time only.
Are there some sample questions test if we have the level to even apply?
Yeah, within the application, there's actually 2 optional questions. Although they're optional, I always do encourage anyone who's applying to make an attempt at them. So you can find two questions listed within the admissions or the application that a student can fill out and kind of get a gist of the type of work that we are expecting, or it'll just be a good temperature check. So there's no pass or fail within the academy. We're just making sure that we can put you in the cohort and make sure that you're successful. And we do have some tracks available to students if they do require some more preparation. We have the Bootcamp Prep Bundle, and there's also pre-work available to every student who is accepted into the program so that they can complete successfully and get prepared for the first day of class. And that pre-work is available for in-person as well as online courses.
For the a la carte courses, would we have access to the recorded lectures after the live sessions?
That's an excellent question.
Maybe
I wonder,
can answer
that.
That.
If Zayu could, I can tap into Zayu for that one if they're available.
Yeah.
Yeah. So usually we have the recording for the live sessions for sure. So we also for the online bootcamp, we use pretty much the latest recording from the bootcamp, or at least the one we feel that is most the best quality in terms of the pacing and also student instructor interaction. But definitely for the live online bootcamp, we have the daily recording. We actually have a forum to share all the recording on a daily basis. Yeah.
Thank you, Zay.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Do you want to answer one more questions, and then we go to the speakers first, and
absolutely
later. So, this one I'll take Tigran's next. Let's do a shorter one. What's the probability of becoming a data science after this bootcamp implies that you don't have master's? I think what's asking is, if you don't have a master's degree, what's the probability of you becoming a data scientist?
I think there's a lot of things that go into that question, so it'd be a little difficult to address. We've had a lot of student success stories that have moved into data science roles, data engineer roles, because it's so broad, that have optimized their experience. We've had students with a bachelor's degree join teams associated only with masters and PhDs based on the type of body of work they brought to the table. So I always say there's a lot of factors that go into that. I don't have an exact percentage to be able to address that question. However, I think this is why it's great to book an info call, or you can always try to connect with us via email, so that we can learn a bit more in regards to your background and can start to address that question a bit more directly towards you.
Did it answer your question, Victor? So we have quite a few questions.
Yeah, I think Martina can answer them, just to type the answer. I think we can jump to the alumni talk part.
Yes.
Yeah.
We want okay, I'm gonna mute, and Patrick, you can go. I'm gonna share my screen, okay?
Okay.
Yeah. Wait, let me mute first.
All right. So my name is Pat Starvaggi. So I have a PhD in applied math. I taught, after getting my PhD, I taught at 2 different universities for a total of 6 years. I did a lot of, research as a graduate student and as a professor. And I used a lot of MATLAB for that research. So I had some background in programming. In 2020, I decided to leave academia and pursue a data science career. And I applied to a lot of jobs before I came to the boot camp. And I even got to some technical interviews, but I kind of was hitting a roadblock with those technical interviews. I had some experience with Python and R, but not a lot. And, just not enough to really kind of excel at those technical interviews. And so I decided, I found this boot camp, the New York City Data Science Academy, and I did the full-time online boot camp. I started last August of 2020, and then I was supposed to finish in December, but my wife had a baby in November, so I finished shortly after the new year, and so that was kind of what kind of led me into the boot camp. And you can go to the next slide. And so in the boot camp, I found it very, productive, very, informative. I learned a lot that I didn't know. The classic, you don't know what you don't know kind of thing really kind of rang true in the sense that I didn't know where the holes were in my knowledge. I didn't realize how incomplete my knowledge was of Python and R. So I really learned a lot of the, programming aspects. So one thing I really appreciated about the bootcamp was just the highly collaborative nature of it. So as Noah mentioned, there are 4 projects in the full-time, data science bootcamp, and 2 of the 4 were, collaborations with others in the cohort. And in addition to those 4 projects, I did 1 hackathon, which was like a 1-week project that was on a team, and that was, fun and, interesting. One opportunity that I had was for my last project. I worked with a real estate startup for the capstone project, and one of the founder was an alumni of the boot camp, and so I thought that project, really kind of stood out in my portfolio because, with all of these projects, you want to make it so that there's a definite kind of business question being researched and answered. And so, given that this project was for a real estate startup, it really, was already kind of addressing a business need, and so it felt, more real. And then you can go to the next slide. And so, after leaving the boot camp or kind of near the end of the boot camp, I started meeting with a resume and career service team, and they had great advice in terms of helping me, just kind of reshape my resume. I had kind of a boring academic resume, and kind of transforming that into a data science resume was, very useful. I think it helped a lot. And so, so I finished, I guess early February was when I actually finally finished my capstone project. And I found a job really quickly. I think that it can vary a lot, but a friend of mine referred me to a staffing agency who very quickly put me in a contract to hire position for Huntington National Bank, which is a regional bank based out of Columbus, Ohio. They operate in like 8 different states. So some of you may have heard of them, some of you maybe not. And so that position went really well. And they hired me full time when that contract period ended. So, now I'm a full-time insights analyst at Huntington. And so we're in the data and analytics team. So, we work with a bunch of data, marketing, fraud, all kinds of, kind of the data and analytics you would expect a bank to use. And I would say that the things that I took away from the boot camp have all been extraordinarily, useful. I feel like I've kind of, picked up, everything from the boot camp and just kind of continued to use it in my job. So, day one, I was using a whole bunch of SQL, Python, and R. And so, I felt very much like the boot camp, prepared me for the position. And one thing that the hiring manager told me in the interview was that he was glad I had done this boot camp. It showed, like, coming from an academic background, that I was, interested and kind of committed to learning a new field. And so that was kind of my experience with the boot camp.
Is it my turn now?
Let's go with Ryan, and we're gonna take questions.
Hi everyone, my name is Ryan Park, and I was a part-time online bootcamp student. I started my bootcamp in May 2020, and finished the lectures in October and went through the job searching process. And meanwhile, I also finished my master's degree there. And I started my job right now in April. And to tell you a little bit about my background, I went to Columbia for undergraduate and I studied economics and mathematics. And while I was at Columbia, I had a chance to work as a research assistant at Columbia Business School. And that was when I had my first exposure to coding, very minimal, but that's when I realized I want to pursue data as my future career. So after Columbia, I pursued a master's degree in applied quantitative research. You can think of it as applied statistics. And at NYU, I had a chance to write my own master's thesis. I specifically focused on socioeconomic diversity and neighborhood conflict in New York City. But as much as I enjoyed writing my own statistical analysis, I wanted to solve more business-oriented problems and get more involved in machine learning and data science. And that's when I heard about the bootcamp from my friend who also graduated from this bootcamp and currently working in the Disney Plus using data science. So actually, I agree. My experience with the bootcamp is pretty similar with Patrick, but let me focus more on why I chose the part-time online bootcamp, because I was a part-time online bootcamp student. So there are three main points. First of all, the bootcamp has a very strong curriculum. And because as a part-time bootcamp student, you're taking as much time as you can to absorb all the knowledge, you will have a lot of time to master all the lectures with these pre-recorded lectures. But one might ask, what's the difference then between taking a Udemy online course versus taking this bootcamp? And I would say the huge difference comes from the support system. You will have a lot of support from the lecturers and the TAs and the mentors, even though you're taking this as an online student and doing this as part-time. I essentially felt no distance or a disconnect from the bootcamp, even though I was a part-time student. And I was able to ask as many questions I can while taking the lectures, doing homeworks, and doing the project. And second of all, you get to create this robust portfolio. Because you are doing this bootcamp as a part-time student, you will have a lot of time to put into for each project. And that really helps you stand out during the job searching process. And one might be worried coming into a part-time bootcamp thinking, oh, how am I going to find people to work with in the bootcamp? Am I going to be able to do a team project? And the answer is absolutely yes. I was able to find two like-minded students, and I had two projects with them. And yeah, the communication really smooth, even though we were all part-time, using GitHub as a tool to communicate with others and get up to speed and updated. There was essentially no disconnect between the teammates. And to piggyback on the previous questions on the Q&A, my teammates only had bachelor's degree, and both of them already found jobs in data science. One already became a data manager, and one is working as a data scientist. So there's no worry in finding a job in data science, even though you don't have a master's degree. And last point that I really liked about this bootcamp is the mentoring and the networking this bootcamp provides. You will be able to meet so many different people who already went through the bootcamp and working in the data science field for over 2-3 years. As far as I can remember, I met more than 10 mentors and alumni, and I was able to listen to their experience and also ask questions about the lectures, the homeworks, and the projects. And it's a really valuable system because they exactly understand what you're going through in the bootcamp. So you're really on the same page with these mentors and alumni. And I was able to really learn from them during the boot camp and even after the boot camp when I was doing job searching. Yeah, we can go to the next slide. Yeah, as I just mentioned, the boot camp doesn't end with lectures. While I was looking for a job, I was constantly getting my resume revised from different mentors and lecturers and alumni. And I was able to even speak with different alumni who weren't heavily involved in the mentoring system, but Vivian and other lecturer, if they found fit, they connected me with the different alumni. And I also was able to go through multiple mock interviews with the mentors and alumni, and you get this full support until you get a job that you like. So I really recommend the bootcamp. Don't worry about it being a part-time or online bootcamp. It really helps you find the right job you are looking for. And currently I am working at Yipit Data. It's a company based in New York. Yipit Data helps investors answer business questions with alternative data. And the main tools I use daily are Python, SQL, PySpark, and Databricks. And it's been only like 3 months since I joined the team at Yipit Data, but I've been enjoying the journey so far. And the materials I was able to pick up in the bootcamp really helps because Yipit Data heavily uses web scraping data and other alternative data sets. So the projects I was able to create in the bootcamp really helped me get ramp on the products that I'm building right now at Yipit Data. Yeah, that's it.
Thank you so much, Ryan. Yeah, if you guys have questions, just feel free to type them in the Q&A. We're gonna read them out loud and see if they'll be able to answer them.
I think there's actually one question. Sorry. Hey, Patrick, I was late for this webinar. My son was in the room, so I can't really turn on my cam. So there's actually one question for Ryan, actually, because Patrick already typed the answer. So what is like the knowledge gap you feel you should have addressed prior to the bootcamp? Like something, catch you like off guard, like, oh, if I have more time prepare, before I start the bootcamp, will be, make the process much more smooth, something like that.
Right. To answer to that question, the knowledge gap between before and after, I had almost no background in Python. I only had intro level of Python skills, and I didn't know anything about machine learning. I tried to take one machine learning course during my master's degree, but it was a total failure. I felt like the class started from like level 100, and they expected me to do 1,000, but what I was really able to achieve in this bootcamp was it really starts from level 0 and it builds you up to 100, even 1,000 with machine learning and data science, web scraping, dashboards, and everything that's involved in the bootcamp. So yeah, before and after, there's a huge gap in what you will learn.
Yeah, thank you, Ryan. So another question is actually maybe Patrick, if you can also share some of your job hunting experience a little bit, like the interview guy, like what kind of questions you saw the most frequent ones, or like what is kind of the commonly required skills for the data analyst job title or data scientist job title.
Yeah, so like I said, before I did the boot camp, I actually probably had more interviews because I found a job pretty quickly after the boot camp. And so there was, a lot of these technical assessments where either, you're either program coding live, sharing your screen with someone, or maybe they send you some assessment and you do it and you send it back. And so, yeah, so before the boot camp, I kind of struggled with those. I think that maybe it just took too much time to come up with basic solutions to some of the problems they were asking. And then after the boot camp, I only had 2 interviews after the boot camp, and I ended up accepting one of those jobs. And actually, it was kind of varied. Obviously, company to company varies quite a bit. The one position I interviewed for with Bridgestone, it's a, obviously a tire company, that was very involved, and not so much programming heavy. It was actually pretty heavy in the science, but they had a lot of, technical questions like, how would I handle a regression situation where you had many more features than you had observations and that kind of stuff. And so, these are things, that, are covered in the boot camp. Obviously, it's hard to take away every single detail and then have it in, ready to go in a job interview. But I guess, you never know what detail from the boot camp might come back and be useful in a job interview kind of setting.
All right, thanks so much, Patrick. So there's another question from Yanis. So like, I think it's about like the cohort mates, like the variety of levels, personality, in a conflict. So, so kind of like, I think maybe Ryan can also just share a bit more about the hackathon experience. I know you and Sita, you guys did the hackathon together, and also, you guys, also what kind of capstone project together after that, right? Mm-hmm. So I think the question is more about like, do you encounter any conflict? But I don't think I think all people we make are great. So I don't think there's really any, conflict. Yeah. So yeah. Sorry.
I can't speak to the whole like live in-person experience, but then the people that you're gonna meet in the bootcamp are very passionate people who's willing to learn machine learning in a couple of months. So they're very cooperative and they're really passionate to create team working experience and projects together. So I don't think getting into conflict will be any major issue when you come to the bootcamp, because people are very eager to learn in the process. So that'll be your main focus.
Cool. Thank you, Ryan. And we just have a new one coming, but let's say the next one is how much math and the statistics involved in the course. So I would say, in terms of curriculum, we actually have the data science with machine learning bootcamp and also the data analytics bootcamp. So the data analytics bootcamp is more focused on, business problems, business analytics. So there won't be that much, machine learning type of, topics involved. But for data science with machine learning bootcamp, there's like, you can learn a whole bunch of machine learning algorithms. And in the bootcamp pre-work, we do, the bootcamp prep or the pre-work. So we did, walk you through just a, quick reminder, a quick warm-up exercises to, go through some of the either the statistics or like, linear algebra, calculus, because those are fundamentals to many of the machine learning algorithms. Because at the end of the day, for machine learning algorithm, you define cost function and you figure out how to optimize it, and then eventually get the, either coefficients, or you figure out how to build the, tree-based model, etc. So depending on the type of bootcamp you're going to be admitted, if it's a data analytics bootcamp, the DA bootcamp, most of the time it's all about, using pandas or using, ggplot or, tidyr, dplyr in R. So, but for the DS with machine learning bootcamp, it'll be pretty math and also statistics heavy. I think that's a question to both of you. So like, do you think employees are looking for domain experience along with knowledge of data science by heart? So I'll let you guys take over.
Yeah, I think domain knowledge definitely matters, even though it might not be the major aspect of your job searching process, because domain knowledge is what's going to make you stand out among all the candidates applying for the job. But to speak from my personal experience, Yipit Data is a fintech company, but I don't have a finance background. But because during the interview process, I was able to really tackle the coding questions and speak to the finance-related questions in some ways. I think they saw the potential in me, even though I didn't have finance background, and I was able to get a job at Yipit Data. Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree with what Ryan just said. I mean, in banking is the same. Obviously, they would prefer someone has experience in banking. I was coming from an academic background, and again, just kind of having the data science and programming skills that you can demonstrate. Obviously most jobs would prefer experience, but if every job required experience, no one would have a job. So it's definitely something I think that when you're trying to get into a new field, you need to overcome your lack of domain experience. And it's helpful, obviously, the more research you can do to have some domain knowledge, even if you don't have that experience.
Yeah, so it's also something we're trying to build here, and just when people working on the capstone project, which is the last project in bootcamp, we trying to let students work on something more, quote unquote generic. So you can apply, you can pitch this project to a complete different industry. You just need to know what type of business problem you're solving, and you can explain, hey, based on your study or research on that company, you can say, hey, where's the techniques of machine learning topics, algorithm learning in the bootcamp, I can help you build a similar model to solve, your business problem, and you can just come up with some, example ones. And that definitely requires some, domain knowledge, but probably, once you have a better idea of, what data set you have, you can say, hey, well, if I have access to this kind of, data sets or these kind of those features in a database, then I can come up with a model to, solve problem X. So it's kind of like, any data science project, you're trying to solve a business problem, and either you help the business drive more revenue, you help the business save the cost. So either way, so everyone knows, oh, data science is so fancy, machine learning is like a hot topic, but still trying how to define the business problem, and also how to define the scope of project, what kind of business problem you're trying to solve, and what problem you could solve using machine learning is kind of the key to become a successful data scientist. And I saw a previous question about, is the bootcamp prep in person? So the bootcamp prep is composed of several part-time courses. Some of them, being taught during the week, some of them during the weekend. So we gradually reopened the campus. We didn't make everything in person, even though for the July cohort, we do have a small group of people join the bootcamp, in person. So we have about 8 students, about 10 students join in person, and the other half they joined live online through Zoom. But starting this fall, we're trying to kind of reopen the campus. Just follow the guidance of CDC and also the Department of Education in New York State. There's AI machine learning computation counts as a project. So it depends on like what is the maybe talking about AI like calculus computation, or for example, the AI, different topic, you have computer vision, you have NLP, you have, for each topic, research topic, you have a benchmark. So a lot of, tech companies or CS PhDs, they do this kind of like, they publish papers, they get, let's say 1%, more accurate on the leaderboard on the benchmark. So those are very, domain specific, and to be honest, those are just like, the benchmark data set there, and it doesn't really involve a, a business problem. So that's why there's a huge gap there. On one side, we have people know data science, know AI, machine learning, but if you don't really know how to apply these tools to solve a business problem, then they just they just leave in academia, just on paper, on research paper. But it would be so sad to see, oh, there's such a fancy model or algorithm there, while we could possibly utilize it to help solve a real life problem. All right, so I think the next question is as a general daily routine, as an online data science bootcamp student. How sorry, like your daily job, like data cleaning, data pre-processing, is it how much time you spend data cleaning versus real modeling? I guess that's the question. Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess for me, it varies quite a bit. So for one thing, a lot of our data is pretty clean already. So I know that it can vary a lot from company to company, but I don't spend a lot of time doing data pre-processing. I guess there is always kind of data collection, when you're running a query and collecting your data from SQL. You got to maybe pare it down to what you really kind of need and that kind of thing. And then a lot of my position is, there's a lot of, kind of the visualization and kind of making up reports based on that data, and also designing statistical tests. And so if we want to test some change to the application, and what does that do to the application completion rate, and so it kind of varies in terms of what's kind of up that week, and then also for my role, a lot of there's maybe, I don't know, a third or so of the time is also spent kind of communicating with people on other teams to kind of come up with what are the business questions they're looking for, and kind of I don't know, kind of coming up with the projects and stuff that we end up then taking and working on.
For me, my role is data specialist at Yipit Data, and currently Yipit Data doesn't do any predictive analysis. So it's mostly a data analytics job, and in daily / weekly, I use Python, SQL, and PySpark to write web scrapers. And I also write Python codes to automate data cleaning process and to go over quality assurance of the data that I scraped. So I would say a lot of times I am coding with Python and SQL. And also I am writing financial reports to our clients with the data set I was able to create and clean and analyze. So there's a lot of data coding and analyzing, cleaning, and writing reports. Yeah.
Web scrapers, huh? It reminds you of the old days, sitting in front of computer, debug your web, the web scraping project, right?
Right.
Oh, awesome. All right. So, and Victoria said the chat. So it's a data-centric AI computation. I just Googled it. It seemed to be a computation hosted by Deep Learning AI and also Landing.ai. So both of them, they're startups founded by Andrew Ng. So the godfather of machine learning, of course. So I'm not really sure. This runs pretty new because the idea is pretty new because it's not like training in the most accurate model. It's more about like how to improve a data set given a fixed model. So that's a really interesting idea. To be honest, this is new to me. So and I think it's a very interesting topic for sure. But for the bootcamp, we have 4 projects. We have a project in Python, 1 project in R, 1 machine learning project, and also for capstone project, it's more like the most comprehensive one. We kind of utilize what you learned in the bootcamp and build a strong portfolio and resume. So so for the R and also Python project, you can choose your own data set, choose your own website to script. So it's kind of an open-ended, or you can pick your own data set. And the machine learning one is actually a fixed topic. So you will be working on a housing price prediction project. It's a data set from Kaggle actually. It's Ames Iowa housing data set. We picked that as a example data set. So it's not really like a fancy data set with like millions of rows of observation. We're trying to let students explore some like the feature engineering step during the machine learning process, which actually to us is more beneficial than just try to train the most accurate model, just taking a whole bunch of resources. So yeah,
I have a question for them. Why did you choose the idea of part-time and full-time? Like, what was your thought processing while choosing the bootcamp you guys took?
So actually, that's a very good question because I think Patrick, you did the full-time one, right?
Yeah,
and the part-time one. So I think it's all about like the number of hours you can commit every week. So, even though we're very conservative on our website, so I guess, you guys can speak sort of like, how many hours you spend per week, and also keep pushing yourself, because, there are a lot of times we learn online. There are like some free resources like, Udacity, Udemy, Coursera, but if you look at their completion rate, it's less than 1%. So you have to really push yourself to, meet the deadline, and also you need support from not just instructors, mentors, but also your teammates, like your cohort mates. So yeah, so depending on, I think, your personal schedule, and also the number of hours, I would say if you have around, so I think the meaning is kind of, the title of the program is kind of self-explanatory. So if you do have, like, full-time, like if you take this a full-time job, you should take the full-time program. If you just say, hey, I have a full-time job already, I can only do this after work hours, okay, I can maybe take the part-time. Also, that also means you have to sacrifice, all the weekends, working on projects, homeworks, to meet the deadlines. Yeah.
Yeah, to talk about my reason behind choosing the part-time online bootcamp was very simple. I actually wanted to join the live in-person bootcamp, but COVID happened, and I had to go back to Korea. But I didn't want to miss doing a bootcamp during summer, so I chose the part-time online bootcamp, and it was perfect because I don't have to attend the lectures live, but I can take the pre-recorded lectures, but still ask questions to the lecturers and TAs. It might get a little bit tricky when you're trying to present your project live, because you have to attend these live project presentations. So like during those days, I stood late, but except that, my experience doing a part-time online bootcamp in Korea, where it's the timeline is like totally different. I didn't feel any like disconnect.
Yeah, and just like Zayo said, for me, it was that I wasn't working at the time, so I chose to do the full-time boot camp because, I was gonna just do it like a full-time, job. And I would say that was one thing I think really helped me was, I was trying to put in 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, for the whole first stretch of the boot camp. And then, like I mentioned, near the end of the boot camp, my wife had a baby, and that threw a whole wrench in everything. But it was good that I had, that solid foundation. And like Zayu said, you need that kind of motivation to kind of keep pushing, through the material. I would try to work through, I can't remember now how many hours of lecture versus working on homework, but the lectures can be, kind of, long, some of them like 3 hours, and so just kind of making time to actually work through the lecture, and then, having the energy to then look at the homework and work through the homework. It definitely, with the full-time program, you want to make sure that you're treating it like it's your full-time obligation.
There's so much. So I think that kind of answered the question just popped up in the QA. All right. So do you have any further questions from this audience?
Yes. So how many hours did you spend per day on your homework and review, like in general?
I think that really depends on the person. You can go all out with the homeworks and projects, especially with the projects. You can definitely spend as much time as you can if you're willing to make it a perfect project. So even though I did a part-time project, I almost took the bootcamp as a full-time, doing it part-time, and I really put my time in to make my portfolio look great. Yeah, I don't have the exact hours to say, but definitely a lot of time that you're gonna put into this bootcamp.
Yeah, and also depending on where you are in the bootcamp. So if you're working on a project, I think you'll probably spend a whole weekend just to debug your code, try to polish your shiny dashboard or something like that. So it's, again, and also when you get to the machine learning modules, you might need to read a lot of, materials from different blog site, or even sometimes, you want to hear the same, algorithm from a, different person. So, get a different type of, looking at the same algorithm, same, topic, but from a different angle. Yeah, so is that another question in chat? So feel free to either type or just, I don't think people can unmute. So maybe you can just type on the QA or just type on the chat. Can people unmute themselves? No, right? I think it's in webinar, they can't, in webinar mode, people can't unmute. So, because I just joined, you have the, I was like just a regular audience, but now I'm a panelist. So I think it's a webinar, it's not like a regular Zoom meeting. You can unmute yourself. So yeah, I guess you have to either type on the chat or type on the QA. So what is starting salary after the completion of the cohort? So maybe actually Noah, if you're available, maybe you can take over this one. If not, I should be able to handle that. Yeah.
Or so for salaries, what I could do, Cornelius, is I could send you an email. We've actually created a document that allows you to not only have a median from where we pull it, but you can also check other sites like the Department of Labor. That's where we get to pull a lot of our information from as well. So I can send you that information via email if you don't mind just providing me an email. I can send it over to you and you should have it within a few minutes. I'm actually also, to all those who send me emails, I am responding to them now. So you should be getting a response from me within the next few minutes.
Cool, sounds great.
Other questions?
All right, so guys, that's all we have for today. All right, thank you guys so much. Thank you, Ryan. Thank you, Patrick, for joining us today, and also thank you for everyone who joined today's webinar. And also, Noah, just FYI, can you also copy? I can't read the name. It's just the Zoom chat definitely need to be improved. I can't really see who actually typed or just squeezing just one letter. It's just makes sense. Okay, so great. Okay, cool. All right, thank you guys so much.
If you guys have further questions about our bootcamp, feel free to email our admissions officers. So at admissions@nycdatascience.com. And thank you, Ryan and Patrick, for the great speech and sharing your experience. And congratulations to Patrick for the baby.
Thank you.
That's right. Congrats.
Thank you.
All right, take care.
Yeah, that's good connecting with you guys. Yeah, have a good one.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.